Good morning, Mark from Top Local Lead Generation. We're here with John Nieuwenburg. He's one of the premier business coaches in North America. And we're going to be talking about a case study that he just did. How are you doing this morning, John?
Doing great. Thanks very much, Mark. How are you?
Good. So you had a client who came to you with some fairly typical problems. What was the issue?
Yeah. Well, a little bit of background first is I was invited to do a podcast with a guy named Rod Jans of Feel Radio, and his thought was to do a case study that talked about coaching and coaching success and with a client. And so that's how we came together and did the story about Fred at Simulex. Fred is a third-generation owner of the company. He got involved in the company at a time when it wasn't doing very well. It had enjoyed lots and lots of success. The founder, his dad, was no longer active in the company, and they turned it over to some professional management, and they kind of run it into the ground. And then Fred took it over, and he became the operating manager of the company. And he did fairly well for about 18 months, but at a significant cost to himself because he grew to a place where he was working night and day and exhausting himself and trying to do everything that needed to be done, everything from managing the plant to doing engineering to doing sales and marketing and to assist in the accounting. And he fell into the classic trap of an entrepreneur, the E-Myth trap of always stuck in the doing of the doing, because he was very good at the technical work, but had a hard time figuring out how to sort of move up to the managerial and CEO level. And another way to think of it is the metaphor of a hub and spoke. And he was the hub of the wheel that was his business, and all of those spokes were people in his business who needed to consult with him on a daily, if not hourly basis in order to know what needed to be done next. And this was exhausting. He hadn't been on a vacation in 8 years. For 8 years in a row, he'd promised his wife to go to a conference in a business she was involved with. And, as the conference drew near, he bailed out, and that became a bigger and bigger problem for him. So he reached out, we connected, we had a phone call, we met in person. That was 15 months ago. And today his life is a whole lot better. His business is a whole lot better. His sanity, sense of well-being is a whole lot better. And, so I invite you to follow the link. That's part of the story here, so you can get the rest of it. And if you find yourself in some of the same kind of circumstance where you're feeling overwhelmed and know there's a better way, but not sure where to start or how to get going or what the better way is, then I invite you to look at the story. And if that makes sense, give me a call.
So if you're looking for help, this is the guy to call. He's not only done it with other entrepreneurs, he's been there himself. He's run very large organizations. He's been in the trenches. It's not just book learning. He's got hard, fast experience, and he's extremely good. From my personal experience, he's helped me a lot in my business, and I would highly recommend him. You'll see that there'll be we'll have a link showing up on this video, depending on where you are, or it'll be underneath in the description, so you can go and check out the full story on the podcast, which is a little bit longer and more involved. So if you want to get a hold of John at w5coaching.com, or check out his website, w5coaching.com. Thanks a lot, John.
Thank you, Mark.